And we're live once again. Republic of Football, lads, we're back again. Back with Squidge, man. How's Squidge?
I'm not too bad now. Good to be back. Third video. We're lasting a lot longer than some managers in the Premier League, so that's a good sign.
Yeah, Cole's back. Cole has got himself a new headset.
Lads. The new headset. What do you make of it?
Oh, it's lolly.
Yeah, looking good. Cole, you said you were getting the new headset, so I said I'd wear the earbuds today as well, like just to make it look
moving up in the world, boys.
Advertise our Valentine's Day presents here.
Come in handy.
Yeah, so lads, I'm looking forward to this one tonight. Big shout out to everybody. I can see there's a few people watching already. So as always, thanks so much for the support, lads. It really does mean a lot. We really do appreciate it. So remember, first thing you do when you're watching at the start, hit that like button. It does help us out. It helps spread the video all across all the platforms. So yeah, please do hit that like button. And if you haven't, hit subscribe to the channel. So tonight's topic, we're going to be looking at Premier League managers. And basically, what do Premier League managers have to do nowadays to hang on to their job? What is the longevity and the kind of lifespan of a Premier League manager? And the first question I'm going to throw out there, lads, I'm going to go you, Squidger, first. Alex Ferguson, Arsene Wenger, are we ever going to see that kind of manager again? Or is that just finished? Are those days gone?
100% gone, out the window, out the gap. I don't know, football's changed a lot. Like football, it's more of a business now anymore. Do you know what I mean? And there's so many things that come into play when for a manager. If the fans get on top of you, if the players aren't performing for you, if the chairman doesn't like you, obviously if you're not getting the results, you're gone. And there's too much money involved in football right now for us to see another Alex Ferguson or an Arsene Wenger. That's just the way it is.
Yeah, and Colin, like that, not only the length of time these guys stayed at the club, Wenger, Alex Ferguson, these guys are pioneers. These guys revolutionised, their clubs. They revolutionised the Premier League. Are we ever going to see a guy that has that kind of influence? It may be someone like, a Guardiola and Klopp. Is that the closest thing that we've got nowadays?
I think it is. Like when Sir Alex Ferguson joined United, the whole culture changed that he had to do. He looked at that team; they were chronic bad alcoholics. He was like, "This team isn't going to win us anything." So it's like the dedication he had. He created a business model for Man United as well, and like having such a say in players' negotiations, contracts, how much they're going to pay for this player. Like same with Wenger, like they just brought in quality style players and stuff like that, but the longevity of their managerial careers at one club, I think it'll be hard to repeat in this day and age.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, most definitely. And like that, I think the role of a manager has changed as well because, like you said there, Arsene Wenger, and obviously me being an Arsenal fan, I had 22 years of Arsene Wenger being the one and only man in charge. I mean, that guy, he was looking after everything. To the point where I reckon he was probably down in the canteen serving the players, their food, their lunch. He had his hand in everything. And managers nowadays just don't have that kind of control. We've got directors, we've got the recruitment teams, we got all sorts going on. Like it seems to be the whole sense of what a manager is completely different nowadays to what we knew a manager was. Squidder, as far as I remember, I think Chelsea must have been one of the first clubs that brought this in with the background staff, the directors and that, like Frank Arneson and that. Didn't he come in pretty early?
Yeah, he came in. You could let's say, Frank Arneson came in, but that Michael Emenenko, I can't really pronounce his name. He's the Nigerian dude. He was before the Maria Graslova one that we have now, and he huge power at the club. Do you know what I mean? He'd nearly as much power as the managers at the club at some stage, like because he was basically bringing in the players and letting out the players. I said this on the last video. The managers these days, other than Klopp or maybe Pep, maybe not even, like I wouldn't say the full control, but majority of them don't have control of who they're bringing in and who they're bringing out to the club. But Chelsea, there I seen a comment there is this is a good topic for us to talk about because Chelsea have gone through so many managers since especially in the Abramovich era, And I was actually looking up. I was doing a bit of research and I was looking up like Frank Lampard. I've seen from a lot of rival fans and a lot of Chelsea fans that like, it was a harsh decision getting rid of Frank Lampard. But Frank Lampard had the lowest percentage win rate, or lowest win percentage out of any manager whoever managed Chelsea. So like you have to look at the kind of stats as well. And I was actually awful surprised. Now I know he wasn't there at the club long, but Avram Grant actually had the highest. So there's a stat. Yeah, Avram Grant. Yeah, I don't think anyone. I didn't know that myself. No, I don't think anyone would have picked that one out.
Yeah, well,
what surprises me, Scott,
with Frank Lampard. Now, like you said, Avram Grant wasn't there a lot long. Frank Lampard only lasted 84 games. Now he had a win record: 44 wins, 15 draws, 25 losses. He wasn't exactly lighting it up, but 84 games. Like, was it fair to give him the boot after 84 games?
I look. There's, as I said at the start of this, football's a business now, and results is all that matters. You can't be looking at what the manager did for the club as a player when he was playing there, because if that was the case, Lampard would be there for the rest of his life because he was a legend. But it's a different career. He's a manager now. He's not a player anymore. He's a manager, and all that matters. You're starting from fresh, and all that matters. And I said it's a business. It's like Lampard got the job. He didn't get it on merit. Because he only did an average job with Derby. He didn't even get them he didn't even get them up into the Premiership. He went to the playoffs, and they lost in the playoffs. And he's like, I'd say his goal was to get them up. Like, so then he got the Chelsea job. Like, he didn't get it on merit. He wasn't doing a great job, lads, and that's my opinion. And I know a lot of Chelsea fans mightn't agree with me because they love him. I love the man, but he wasn't doing a great job. Tuchel is after coming in there now, and we seem to be playing good football again.
He's unbeaten under Tuchel now.
We're unbeaten under Tuchel. 4 wins there tonight. We're at a good performance. Shout out to Timo Werner. I hope he goes on a goal scoring run there now.
About time for Werner. But I came in at the right time. Like Tuchel's in at the right time now. A few home games to ease him into the Premier League, as well as to get used to Stamford Bridge.
I honestly think if we kept Lampard, we definitely wouldn't have qualified for the Champions League. And for a team like Chelsea, we need to be qualifying for the Champions League if you want to attract the bigger and better players, and if you want to hold on to your big players as well.
Yeah, it's like if fans are back in stadiums right now and the Lampard sacking and all that, there'd be so much uproar. What do you think, Squidge? Do you think there'd be banners everywhere like Abramovich out and all that kind of crack?
Say that again, sorry, Colin.
Say if fans are back in football right now, would you say there'd be banners up everywhere about Abramovich, about sacking?
A lot of fans would have been like, if you've seen it on social. Well, I've seen it on social media platforms there, like. Chelsea's a scum club, not giving Lampard the time, all he's done for the club. That's fair enough in saying, like, all he's done for the club, but he's a manager. He was a manager now. He's the manager of Chelsea now.
Yeah, with manager now brings different aspects to it.
All you can look at is what he's done as a manager. That's, in my opinion. You have to be ruthless.
Forget about his playing career. That's how ruthless.
That's my opinion. And Lampard did a good job at Chelsea. Because he couldn't spend the money. So he was basically, he couldn't spend money. So he brought the youth through. He got us into the Champions League. So it was a win-win for him. Do you know what I mean? If he didn't get us into the Champions League, people would have said, oh, sure, he couldn't spend the money. Do you know what I mean? Now, then he brought through the youth, and that was grand. He got us into the Champions League. But this season, we were all over the place. And it was effectively, it was the fact that he spent so much money, that's what effectively got him sacked. Because he bought into marquee signings.
But do you think that he brought them in, or do you think that?
Well, I don't.
Brought them
that's
in?
My point. I think the hierarchy of the club brought them in, but it's up to Lampard to get them firing, like, which he didn't. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, which is true, lad.
Take into account. Lampard was there for 84 games. Yeah, I know he spent the money and it wasn't looking good. And you did say, he didn't get the job on merit. Look at what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is doing at United this season. Now, look, okay, we pretty much know City are going to win the league. But in fairness, United were up there, and talk about kind of not getting a job on merit so much. Like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's track record, he managed in the Premier League finished 20th with Cardiff, got relegated.
Yeah.
Now he did go back, manage Molde. He won the Norwegian League. I think he won the Norwegian Cup. I think his managerial record is he has Norwegian League, Norwegian Cup, and I think he's won 2 under-23 league titles with United. So again, he's come in, and I know, okay, he had a good start as the caretaker manager. It kind of went a little bit pear-shaped for a while.
It kind of all went so well from, didn't it, Anthony? Like,
but
I mean,
it's kind of, you know, he's had a bit more time. You know, like he has spent money as well. Like he has.
Yeah, he's came in on the back of Mourinho losing 3-1 to Liverpool, and it came as such a huge surprise. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to be interim manager. Thought that was a great, like, okay, bring him in. The season's already, it's over for us. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, if we have him an interim manager, I would have liked it if we kept him interim manager for the summer, and then Pochettino, bring him in. I would have thought we would have brought him in.
I can't understand how he didn't move for Pochettino that time. He was waiting for the job. He was waiting for the job. And now I know there was a thing in Pochettino. He had a clause that he couldn't manage another Premier League team until his contract ran up at Spurs. But he was waiting for you. Like, he actually, you know what I mean?
It was similar to Mourinho. Mourinho had numerous job opportunities, but he waited for Man United. He got it.
Yeah, but that's like, Matt, look, as much as I hate saying it, United's one of the biggest clubs in the world. You know what I mean? Like,
we are in terms of
lads want to manage there. But I don't think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is the man to bring back the glory days to Manchester United. I think he's
to win back titles, to win back-to-back titles. But that's very hard to do nowadays.
No, but I honestly don't think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will win a title with you. That's my own opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
But I have to say, and this season he actually. They're coming second in the league now. Man City of the league basically wrapped up, you could say.
It's theirs to lose.
I know he got knocked out of the Champions League in the group stages, but you have to say United are having a good season now. I don't know, is it because this season the teams around them aren't playing as well?
The season was poor. We lost to Palace. We lost to Palace at home. Our home form, still to this day, throughout the season, has been terrible. It's been picking up. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, his backroom staff, he has the likes of Carrick there, a young lad from Enniskillen, and the first team coaches. I mean, I don't know. I don't trust them at the minute. I just don't think their career behind them has led them to where they are now. No, don't understand it.
I can't see United, and they're gonna end up pumping a lot more money into that team as well, because if they want to challenge for titles, they're gonna have to. And I don't think Solskjaer is the right man. If I'm being honest, that's my opinion. What do you think, Adda?
Yeah, well, looking at Solskjaer's record, when he was made the caretaker manager, he had 14 wins, 2 draws, and 3 losses. Now, then he was made full-time manager, 28th of March 2019.
Yeah.
So he had 99 days as the caretaker manager. He's had 690 days as full-time boss. 58 wins, 24 draws, 26 losses. On paper, it's not a bad record. The flip side of it is, for a club of Man United's stature, it's
for our pedigree,
exactly. Yeah. I think that's what you're up against.
Ollie favors choosing a system that works for example, we analysed there. I'm just going to quickly talk about West Brom game at the weekend. There's so much trust in Scott McTominay and Fred, rather than playing a creative midfielder alongside Bruno, who's also a creative midfielder, and Donny van de Beek instead of Fred, just to try and break down that low block.
Why was Van de Beek signed? Who signed him?
And Evan van der Sar, but he is obviously from being with Manchester United, a good relationship Ajax and Manchester United have. We picked him up because we knew other clubs were going to get him. We're going to land his signature. We wanted to have strength and depth, and I just think he's there for strength and depth to play the odd 10 or 15 minutes. I've been fond of Donny van de Beek. I believe he should be playing more minutes under Ollie. I just don't understand how Ollie has that integrated.
I wonder who is signing players at times.
That's what I mean. Ollie definitely didn't sign Van de Beek, 100 million%. And how much was he bought for?
He was about
I believe around 40 million. In or around 40 million.
Yeah.
Lad, sorry there. I'm sorry. I'm just after seeing that my nephew Keegan's after coming on, and I told him I'd give him a big shout out. He's a Liverpool supporter. He's only a young lad, and Virgil van Dijk's his favourite player. So
he loves this jersey.
Yeah, good man, Keegs. Thanks for coming on and watching. There he is. There. Sorry for interrupting you.
No problem at all.
Squidge.
Don't mind being interrupted for a shout out. No problem.
But Van de Beek, it's a weird one, Van de Beek. Like, what would you be thinking if you were Van de Beek? Like, you're sitting there.
He's lost his confidence because of Ollie. It's toxic at the minute. Like a young player, I don't even think around the dressing room or even around the training ground, he doesn't have a relationship with anyone. Like, who's his pal? Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel sorry for him. I do think now that Pogba was injured, Ollie should trust Van de Beek.
Yeah.
It seems that over Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's tenure as Manchester United boss, he always seems to pull out that win or consecutive wins when he comes under pressure to actually give him that bit of leeway for the next 5 or 6 games. And then if he does bad, then he pulls out another. Did you notice that?
Like, yeah, I noticed that. When he is under pressure, when the media is at him, I watch almost all his press conferences, and I don't think he analyzes the question that's actually asked him. He stutters a lot. He's not confident. He actually doesn't control the conference at all, the press conference at all, and it worries me. Like, what is he like in the dressing room in terms of if he's angry? Do you think any one of them players would walk into that dressing room and think, "Oh no, I'm actually scared of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer"?
And you have some big egos in that dressing room as well.
We talk about Ferguson's hairdryer treatment at some players, and Ole doesn't see, like, I wouldn't be scared of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, even if I done wrong. Martial's a prime example of how Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, he always gives players a second chance, always keeps playing players who are out of form. Yeah. It's annoying to see, like, a record against the bottom 3 this season. Lost to Sheffield, drew there at West Brom. We just about bet Fulham there 2-1. Pogba's stunner. That was a great goal, wasn't it, boys?
Yeah, it was a good goal, right? Fernandez's goal at the weekend was class. The way he sorted out his feet.
Brutal. Apart from that, though, I don't think he was outstanding in the game. He just had that one moment, but he got us back at a point. I take a point over a loss.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, like you were saying there, Squidder, with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, he seems to have a habit of, when he's under a bit of pressure, he gets a couple of results, strings a few results together, and kind of says himself, and you know what? Again, as a key point now, I'm an Arsenal fan, so I kind of have this with Arteta. We go on that run, 7 games without a win, and suddenly, you've the majority of the fan base calling for his head. Then he pulls it out of the bag and he goes on a run of 7 games without a defeat. Then that all comes crashing down again, and we go 2 games without a win, and then we're expected to probably not show up against Leeds, and then we go and score 4 goals. Sometimes they just have a habit of doing it, and Arsene Wenger was so mad for doing it. He was so mad for when the wrong way.
He was so mad to pull it out of the bag for you. Constantly getting your Champions League football, and the net spend of a summer could be 50 million max.
Different time, though.
It goes to show about expectations and that, and with a manager. Arsene Wenger was consistently getting top 4 consistently every single season, to the point where it no longer became appreciated by the fans. And understandably, you keep hitting 4th and you keep scraping Champions League, and understandably you want the next step and the progression. It's only now that all of that's gone and we see the struggle to even hit top 6 nowadays, that suddenly the work that Wenger was doing is now massively appreciated, whereas it wasn't before. And like I said, it's understandable. If you're finishing 3rd, 4th every season, it's understandable. You want to start going, right, we'll try to get 2nd and 1st, and progress, a little bit of progression every season. But
expectations.
100%. But there is.
But some of the football, like, that's what Arsenal are known for, like silky, fast, one-touch, counter-attack kind of style. Like that Norwich goal, like, always brings to mind Giroud, Wilshere linking up.
Yeah, that was class.
And that the one touches and the whole movement of it, like, that was one of the best Premier League goals scored in Premier League history.
Yeah. Definitely.
So Mikel Arteta, like, how do you trust in Mikel Arteta, Anthony? Like, do you have full belief this Mikel Arteta is going to take us somewhere.
My view on the Arsenal managerial situation is, at this very moment in time, with that squad of players, you could have Pep Guardiola in there with Jurgen Klopp as his assistant manager and Alex Ferguson, overseeing them, and Arsene Wenger as a director, whoever you want. Make a world-class background team, assemble the best of the best managers. You've still got Granit Xhaka and Hector Bellerin and El Neni and David Luiz, and that the end game is going to be the same. You might get a little bit out of it. You seen when Arteta first came in, he had that new manager effect. He rallied the troops, got them together. He pulled a couple of results out of the bag. He had Mustafi in that playing. We've seen how Mustafi's been over the years. David Luiz, Xhaka, you name it. We've seen these guys consistently underperform over the years. And like that, you put a new man in charge in the morning and he might get a little bit out of him. He might get an extra 10, 15% out of him. But that only lasts so long. So I'm not saying Arteta is the answer. But I'm just saying at the moment with the current squad, that current crop of players, that core, the kind of underbelly of the team, as long as that remains, I really can't see who's going to be successful at Arsenal. Like, depending on what you consider success. If you consider success top 6, I do think the squad is good enough. If the right guy comes in to motivate them, I can't see why they wouldn't be good enough for top 6. Top 4, I don't know. I don't know if the squad is good enough. Like, it would take something amazing.
But do you think it's down to the squad that he has taken over from Emery or Lumberg? Sorry, I think a lot
he's got rid of a lot of the dead wood there. In fairness, now
he has, and I know. Look, it frustrates people listening to this. Trust the process and all that. Like, people get on board with the likes of that. When a new guy comes in and his first press conference, Arteta looks the part. He speaks well. He ticks all the boxes for what you want. He's a young coach. He comes in with this reputation. Pep Guardiola gave him the seal of approval. He comes with a good pedigree. Now, the problem is he's still a first-time coach. He's still making mistakes for the very first time. And unfortunately, he's making them at a Premier League club who has high expectations and a fan base who doesn't want to hang about and give people time. So he says trust the process, and we all go, that sounds great. Now, a season in, people are already going, what's going on here? Now, was
it your worst start? Worst start of the league since Premiership began?
Oh, we've broken all sorts of the wrong records this season. But for me, the process with that club it's not a 1-year process. This is at least a 4 or 5 year process, and people don't want to hear that, and people don't have patience.
But the fans don't. They don't get, like, if you told me that Chelsea's not going to be pushing for a title again for another 5 years, I'd be like, well, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm just reading a few of the comments there, like in terms of the transfers so far that Arteta has brought into the club.
Yeah.
Like Partey, Gabriel, and the on-loan signings, Ceballos, Odegaard, to just they fit the bill and his philosophy of playing. What would you believe they would?
Yeah, well, I'm encouraged by the signings now. I know people are saying, "Oh, look who we signed last season," and it's like we were saying earlier. Who is signing these players? And I've said this time and time again on my own podcast, and I bounce around a few different Arsenal podcasts. So I've said it time and time again. If you look at who was actually calling the shots behind the scenes, we had Raul Sanyehi before Edu. And if you look at the players that have come in, a lot of them are Kia Jarabchin clients. You've David Luiz, you've Willian, you've Cedric Suarez. And we were only up to recently, we were getting linked with, the Barcelona keeper Neto and all. These are all clients of Kia Jarabchin, who was really, really good mates with Raul Sanyehi. Now, I've never known Kia Jarabchin to be, at the Emirates Stadium, but suddenly all of his clients are signing for us, and he's up in the director's box with Raul Sanyehi. So to me, that's red flags waving everywhere.
100%.
Do you think that's the red flag for the boardroom for Arteta to work with?
Oh, 100%.
You can't be deciding to bring in players because you're good friends with the lad.
Yeah, but
and the players you're after, them out there. the players you're after naming out there, David Luiz, Williams, like these lads are finished, like they're gone. Like you need to be blood and new.
Yeah, but now that Raul Sanyehi guy, he's gone. He's moved on. Again, mysteriously, after a guy is hired to come in from an outside agent, came in, checked over Arsenal's books, transfer dealings. It's believed he took a good long look into that Pepe deal, which is made up of installments for 72 million. And we all know we paid way over the odds, no matter what way you structure that deal.
Yeah.
Way over the odds.
At that price, like,
It was ridiculous. Look, Pepe, right? He was decent when he was in France. I'm not saying he wasn't worth a transfer fee of maybe 30 million. You know, in today's market, maybe a player like that with a reputation, 30 million, thereabouts.
You're going to be paying 30 million for an average player now anyway. That's just the way it's gone.
Exactly. So like 30, 40 million wouldn't have surprised me. It was actually the Lille president that came out and said he was actually surprised that Arsenal went to 72 million because they said that the highest offer they had received was less than 40 million. But again, this is
they couldn't say no.
The rails, he structure, like, you know, there was
just explain to like people who might not know who Raul Sanyehi is, like who's the main man of.
Yeah, but basically he was looking after the transfers and he came into us from Barcelona. And if you look at Barcelona's financial trouble nowadays and look back over the last kind of 10, 15 years and look at the man that was in charge, just saying, he's left Arsenal. He lasted 2 years ago. And as I said, a guy came in, checked over everything, and then suddenly a statement is made by the club. Arsenal and Raul Sanyehi have decided to mutually part ways. Thanks very much. You did a great job. Yeah, definitely. And they just
bit of corruption going on there now.
100%. So
dodginess.
I know I'm slightly going around the point here, but basically, like the way I feel now about Arteta, I'm looking at the likes of Thomas Partey and Martin Odegaard and Matt Ryan and this, and I'm feeling a bit more like I see what he's trying to do now, whereas before I feel like, you're being handed Willian and you're being handed David Luiz and you're being handed Cedric Suarez because they're available. I'm well in with the agent. I can organise the deal for you. I think it's a little bit of a case of here you go. And I think maybe it was a bit of naivety on Arteta's part, as a first-time coach. And he said, well, look, they're seasoned Premier League players, international players, plenty of experience. They've done plenty in the past. Maybe he looked at it that way and said, well, it's going to be handy integration for them, put them in the team, a couple of experienced heads, and, it'd be enough to steady the ship, get me some results until I find my feet. Unfortunately, it hasn't been the case. They've largely been the players that have actually let them down, and up till lately, it's just been the kids that have come up through the ranks are the ones that are saving his arse, really, So
that's one thing Arteta has done so far as well for Arsenal. He's given the likes of Emile Smith-Rowe, Bakary Saka, Martinelli.
Yeah, he didn't really have a choice though. Like, and I'm not saying he didn't give them do you know what I mean? And the boy, like Smith-Rowe's been very impressive. Saka's unbelievable. Yeah, but he had to play them. The boys, he'd know their options.
He couldn't trust the actual, the senior players in the squad. You're paying them such big amounts of money compared to the youngsters. Yeah. But the youngsters are making a show.
On the topic of managers and like that not being given enough time, if you look at the core of Arsenal's performers, if you look at who actually brought these guys through, Saka, Smith-Rowe, involved in the signing of Martinelli, it was Unai Emery who he got the boot, and again, we're talking about like players that are signed. People turn around and say, well, Unai Emery was there when we signed Nicolas Pepe, and Unai Emery was there when we signed Lucas Torreira, and guys like that didn't work out. But if you listen to Unai Emery since he's left Arsenal, he said, I didn't want Pepe, I wanted Wilfried Zaha. I didn't want Lucas Torreira, I wanted Steven Nzonzi. Apparently he didn't want Matteo Guendouzi. He wanted, I actually can't think of the lad's name. He was in PSG's youth ranks, and he also had crazy curly hair. I think he's since moved on. I actually can't think of his name. The three of these players that we signed that haven't, at the moment worked out, he didn't want these players. He was told, like, this is who you're getting. And a lot of it was because of, the club was looking at resale value on that. So obviously Nzonzi, I think, is now 29 or 30. And they said, well,
he's coming towards the end of his career, like, you know, that sort of way. So
exactly.
Yeah, but then it backfires, didn't he? End up like a season or two later getting David Luiz and William, who are 32, 33, like, you know. So I don't know. What's your verdict, Anto? Like, let's say if Arsenal don't win the Europa League and you stay in the position you are now in the league, or you move up a couple of places, do you stick with Arteta?
Regardless, look, as long as we're not getting relegated this season, which isn't happening. I know we had an early scare early in the season, right? We're not getting relegated. I don't believe we're going to hit top 6, but I sort of accepted that a while ago. I don't know. Look, Europa League, the doors are still open. There's still some good teams in there. I'm not putting my eggs in the Europa League basket. Of course, I want us to go for it. I think our only.
You still have a chance. You still have a chance.
We have a chance. We have a chance. As good a chance as any of the teams left.
Yeah, you're not too far off the Europa League. So 6 points, is it?
Yeah, but I'm basically looking at it as I'm willing to give Arteta next season. I'm willing to, as I said, I'm seeing a bit more of what the process is. I'm seeing a little bit more of what the process is. You know, he's got the young players coming through, Martinelli, Smith Rowe, Saka, you know, he's got all these players. You can see a different style of signing.
And the thing about it is he's able to control that dressing room because he has the younger players. They will adapt to what Arteta is saying and tactics. When you see him, he's always all the time on the sideline, yelling, roaring, keeping his players, you know, very vocal on the sideline. I think that is such a good coaching style.
I thought he was a good. I thought when he came in first, I thought he was going to make a right good job. But as you said earlier, the squad he inherited it's not like just players aren't up to scratch. I think with another 3 or 4 decent signings, he'd be battling for top 4. Let's say.
Yeah. Definitely. Just on that comment there, hard for Arsenal to attract top players while not playing Champions League, and they mightn't even get Europa League either. Just in terms of that. This is something else that, you know, I spoke about on a couple of different channels, and that's a point that a lot of Arsenal fans are making, saying that, you know, we need to get Europe to attract these top players. And yeah, that's completely true. But at the same time, what I'm looking for from Arsenal, I'm looking for smarter recruitment. You know, I'm looking for us to look in different places. Like, yeah, we got Thomas Partey, and it was an unbelievable signing, and we signed from Atletico Madrid, a Champions League.
Unfortunately, he's been injured like more times than he ever was at Atletico Madrid for years.
It's not even, look, realistically, we can't be signing, like, every player we bring in can't be 40, 50 million. We just don't have those finances. We need to be clever. You know, we need to look at, like, I take Aston Villa, for example. Like, Aston Villa, like, they've been really, really good this season. I mean, you look at their targets. You know, like
Dean Smith has done a serious job with them.
Yeah, Matty Cash, they come from Notts Forest.
Matt
Target came from Southampton. Like, these aren't Champions League teams. You know, there are good players out there. And the one I always throw out there, and you know that I always throw this out there, Jamie Vardy was £1 million for Fleetwood. There are good players. Just because you're playing in a lower division does not mean...
Doesn't mean you're...
But the pressure is on from the fans to sign these big players. That's what happens.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
Because United fans right now, we're mad to see Amad Diallo, even though he was signed for, I believe it was 17 million, and it's rising up to potential 38 something with add-ons and that. Like, we're mad to see him because there's a slot there in the team in the right wing position that's available for him. To be honest with you, I understand why he's not been played there yet, but I'd like to give him some minutes before. Do you know what I mean? Before the end of the season.
Greenwood has to be starting out there for you, in my opinion.
Yeah,
he's class.
Fantastic
class.
Season, fantastic breakthrough season for such a young kid.
He had that bit of controversy there with there was stuff in the media.
There was the story with the Iceland story. There was
and stuff like that. And he was out of the team for a while, but up until that, he was one of your best players. He was even been slated for the likes of showing to training ground late, and United released a statement containing all the like how much early he'd just be at the training times. He's always there early on time and stuff like that. Why the expectation of some young lads though, it needs to be kind of eased. We shouldn't be like, you know. But That's the
relying
world
so
we're living.
much.
That's the world we're living in now, Carl. No, do you know what I mean? If you come on the scene, and especially if you're English, the media will absolutely blow you up through the roof. Like that's just the way. That's the way it is. That's why they're on. That's why young lads these days are on. 60, 70,000 when they should only be on whatever 10 years ago, the young lads coming through might be getting 5, 6, 7,000 a week. Now they're up on 40, 50,000 a week. Like,
yeah,
that's
there's a bit of debate on the chats here about that player I was talking about for PSG. It's not Rabiot. Like this kid is only
Rabiot's much older.
Yeah, no, this guy I think is only about maybe 20 now. Oh, do you know what? It's driving me mad. I will find out who it is. It'll come back to me.
Google.
Shout out to the fans there. Locate that player.
Please.
I think he has moved on. He has moved on now. We were supposed to be that close to signing him anyway. Whoever the fuck he was.
We move on to I know Liverpool supporters are viewing Jurgen Klopp.
Yeah, definitely. What you make of the whole Klopp situation? I think, look, absolute madness from some of the fans calling for Klopp's head.
It's ridiculous.
It's
I'd be wondering our players, our fans, a different club making up accounts and commenting on or putting it up. No way could any Liverpool supporter want Klopp out.
No, not a hope.
Anyone in their right mind, like. The man came in. He brought them to a Europa League final, which they lost. In fairness, okay. Then he brought them to a Champions League final, which they lost. But they're getting finals. Then he won the Europa, or then he won the Champions League. Then he won their first league in 30 years. And now they're having a bit of a blip. And all of a sudden, it's Klopp out. Like
they played the most games of last season. Their football, the style of play. Klopp has just Klopp has just done such a job, and signing the likes of Robertson for 4 million, picking up players for bargains, and turning these players into.
Yeah, even Yata at that time, like Yata was, do you know what I mean? It looked like his career was going nowhere other than down, and then he signed in. He was banging in goals for Liverpool. Klopp,
it's smart recruitment all over again. Look, Andy Robertson.
Klopp is a top manager for that. Klopp is a top. He never actually walked into a club that has money, or that he has just gained the fans. He knows everything about Anfield. I'll ask
to tell you a question. Actually, interesting. If you were a professional footballer and Man City and Liverpool were coming into you, who would you go and play for now? Would you want to play? Not now, but would you want to play under Klopp or Pep?
It's a tough one. It's a tough one. Do you know what? I like Klopp as a person more, and I think as a person I would probably take to Klopp better. You know what I mean? I think he's more of he's almost like one of the lads kind of. Do you know what I mean?
You'd enjoy yourself a lot more, like.
Yeah, no, but that's not to say. Look, Guardiola maybe for me a little bit intense, but look, he's brilliant though. Do you know what I mean? Like, you get the results, but I think you need a certain kind of.
It's like you're going to ask yourself, who will I win more under?
I don't think it's even that. I think it's I think they're so different in their style. You know, they're such different people. I think though certain players would not be able for the intensity of Guardiola, whereas I don't know whether with Klopp certain players would have a mentality that I don't know, is he too easy going with them and too.
Let's say you're the best player in the world. Either you're the best player in the world. Who do you go to?
I would work for Klopp. I think that he'd be more of a father figure to me. He'd give me what I want. He'd be like Ferguson to Ronaldo. Just treat him like a son.
I picked Klopp as well. I have to say, I think he's passion for everything. I just love it. Like,
I got to be honest though, yeah. As much as I'd prefer to play under Klopp, but with the Man City model, I would probably just go to Man City because I just act the glory hunter. Because okay, if Liverpool,
you probably win more under Pep,
look at last year, for example. Yeah. Look at last year, right? It was like the best Liverpool team we've ever seen, and then look at City this year. Like, okay, City have a blip for a season, they're back again next season. City might have a blip next season, and then they're back again the following season. You know, there's just the money. You know, you can't compete long term with that. You really can't.
Yeah.
You do wonder how like Pep always sees room for improvements in positions that you'd never think or even should be improved. The likes of Leroy Sané at the time, Mahrez, Bernardo Silva, all fighting for their place. Sterling, they have such strength and depth.
Yeah.
I think sometimes Pep can. I wouldn't play under Pep because I think he'd just be too cutthroat with me.
Yeah.
He wouldn't be too much leeway with him, but to be just so much.
That mentality keeps you on your toes to perform better every week too. Do you know what I mean? The only reason Pep's being cutthroat with you is because he wants more out of you. And I think if you get that mentality into your head, Pep would love you then. Do you know that kind of way?
Yeah.
100%. As long as you're willing to die for him, I'd say he'd love you. I'd say he'd do anything for you. It's all about winning. It's all about winning for the two of them. But I think Klopp just goes about it in a different way.
Definitely. While we're on the topic of Klopp, like I said, I think it's madness that he is under pressure. Like if you look at what he's done with Liverpool, I mean, like he's only there since October 2015.
Yeah,
he's got their first Premier League in 30 years. He was voted the world's best club coach twice since he's been there. He's got 4 trophies at Liverpool, and he's the first manager for an English club to win the international treble, the UEFA Champions League, the FIFA World Club Cup, and the UEFA Super Cup. And you know what? People are forgetting he only did this last season. He only won the league last season.
It's only last season we're talking about. I mean, why are we even saying the same sentence? Klopp
did like this. We're talking about managers who potentially could be in line to get sacked. Klopp doesn't even come. He doesn't even come into that conversation. The only reason Klopp will leave Liverpool is if
by mutual consent.
Mutual consent. He won't get sacked. Not a fear of him getting sacked. Maybe like he's obviously has personal issues now. He's going through a tough time. His mother's just after passing away and stuff like that. But I seen an interview today. Klopp came out today. It was on Sky Sports. Klopp says, "Look, my beard looks grey. My eyes look tired, but I feel full of energy. I don't need a break. I'm ready to go." So and he was so surprised. I was surprised myself. How did the bookies have him? He's gone into odds on to get to sacked. Normally the bookies get it right, but that was just crazy stuff.
Like for me, Klopp, for what he's done and what he means to Liverpool and even the city, like he's so involved with everything that goes on. To me, he's one of those that he's untouchable. He would have to do like maybe kind of an Arsene Wenger type. He'd have to go a couple of seasons, underachieving to the point where maybe it became a bit too much from the fan base. But at the same time, is anybody really untouchable? I mean, look, let's take Leicester, for example. Claudio Ranieri won the league with a side who the season previous almost got relegated. Like that man got the sack. That fella should have a statue outside.
100%. Your statement there, Anto, about is anyone really safe? I think the only reason that Pep and your likes of Pep, your likes of Klopp are safe is because you cannot replace them with a better Pep or a better Klopp. There's no one there at the minute. You have the best managers in the world. So you can't, if you get rid of them, who are you going to replace them with? That's why I think the two boys are as much as you can be safe in their jobs, like a manager's job. Yeah. Like that's the way it is.
In terms of what managers that are out there or that are available right now to take over a club that's going to be sacking the manager. We look at Eddie Howe's available. Allegri's available.
If
you look at that, the Man City model, Man City, they're the spending club now. Like they don't want to bring in like Man City. If they rated Arteta that much, they could have been promising him all sorts when Pep steps out away because
he could be the next manager after Pep.
I think he still might be the next manager after Pep.
Potentially,
I think so too. Yeah,
and Arsenal is like. I'm not trying to slag Arsenal here, Anto. Excuse me, but Arsenal's a good, learning ground for it. Like if he wants to,
exactly.
They could like he might have said, when Arsenal offered him the job, and they might have said, oh, well, we want you here in a few years to take over after Pep leaves, and they could have said, go to Arsenal, learn more, learn your trade, see what it's like to be out on your own, and then come back to us in better stead.
Well, that's it. Look, it's the City model now. Like I said, they're not going to give the job to a guy who's untried, untested. Like the model they have now it's becoming sort of like the Real Madrid kind of model. I know Zidane, okay, you could probably argue wasn't the most experienced, but he came up through like managing the Castilla, and he's such a legend himself.
Zidane is Zidane. He just has it.
He had that name and the aura and the respect of the players and whatever else he did time in the Castilla. But City aren't a club at the moment that are gonna take a risk on a manager. Like if they're getting a guy to come in, it's gonna be the biggest name they can possibly attract.
Yeah, and it's going to be for long term. It's going to be the manager's going to be backed 100%. City always seem to back their managers. They don't care how much they spend.
What is long term now? 3 years.
If you 3 years max,
Dyche is the longest served manager in the Premiership. He's been there since 2014. 2012. Yeah, and that's only 8 years. And the very first question you asked us on tonight's show is, will we ever see a Mourinho, or will we ever see a Ferguson or an Arsene Wenger again? And there's your answer right there.
Sean Dyche is the perfect fella. Again, he works on the lowest transfer budget at his team at Burnley. He has other Premier League clubs coming and picking out there, like Michael Keane, losing him. Like Nick Pope. If a good bid came in for him, I think Burnley are selling club.
They're definitely selling club.
At the moment, it's looking that Sean Dyche has. He won't get sacked either. He'll leave on mutual consent.
100. Sean Dyche's job is safe even if they get relegated.
He has one battle there to keep Tarkowski there at Burnley at the minute. Yeah. He had a couple of bids from Leicester, and if they lose Tarkowski, and
it's a funny one, right? Because for someone like Sean Dyche, it seems as though his job at Burnley is absolutely untouchable as long as he's not, exceeding expectations. As long as he's not doing too well, if he's keeping them afloat in the Premier League every season, it seems as though he's untouchable. Now, the minute they progress, let's say if they manage European qualification, if they get Europa League one season, then he's raised the bar for himself. Then that becomes the standard.
The last time they actually secured European football or even a qualification was back in 2018. They finished. Do you know what? So it's right now they're sitting at 17 goals scored in the Premier League, but they've done a job. They've recently they've ended Liverpool's home record.
But Dyche has kept them in the Premier League all this. I know they went
when you think of Burnley, what style of play do you think? Long ball? Do you think it's going to be rough?
You don't really want to watch a Burnley game. Do you know what I mean?
Hey, did you not see the goal they scored the other day?
Look, we're talking about Burnley over the last 10 years or 8 years.
What was it like, Anto?
Oh, lads, no, you have to go watch it. If you didn't see Burnley's goal there from a week ago, it was unreal. All right. It was a goal Arsenal will be proud of.
We might stick it in the link. We might stick it in the link below for the video.
It was a cracker, absolute cracker of a goal.
Just going back to I think Liverpool have a process as well, or a plan as well. I think Klopp will see out his contract till 2024, and I think Steven Gerrard will come in and replace him. That's what I think.
Yeah, and I think Klopp long term is going to Bayern Munich. That's what I think.
Yeah, it's the next stop for him. It's the
only his home native country. It's still in Europe.
He said himself he's going back to Germany. Yeah, and he was
it's been said already. Wasn't there someone from Bayern's board or something came out? I'll find out that I'm terrible with names tonight, but it was said that the day Klopp wants that job, it's his, regardless of who's in charge. That's how high they hold him.
He's one of the best managers in the world.
He's the best manager at turning bang average teams into something that we've not seen. His style of play is one of the best to watch in the world. How many times have you seen the Liverpool side score in the first 15 minutes of a game? So many,
it's everything about him though. He's such a likable character. I even know some Man United fans who like Klopp, which would be very, very rare.
Because of the rivalry and I think he's just what he brings to the game. It's stick on Liverpool game. I know see how they're doing. Of course, you're going to keep an eye on your rivals, but it's always
Klopp is
almost so certain in every accumulator.
Yeah, but you know what? It's something that
every
keeps
player.
a guy in a job as well. Like that keeps a guy in a job. You know, if they have that personality, like if you have a guy who's terrible with the media and really dislikable character, like say Mourinho, for example, the second the results start going against him, you notice there's a lot more pressure on him because he's a bit of a prick. You know,
Mourinho
whereas
loves that.
we feel
Mourinho
bad
loves it.
for him. 100%.
Mourinho
Mourinho
loves that.
knows
Topic of
the fact that
Mourinho.
you're talking about Mourinho.
Any attention
rather
at all,
than-
Mourinho loves. Just
Exactly. Rather than if it's all pointing towards him, that's what he wants. And we're already
100%.
if he gets sacked, what's the payout that Spurs have to pay Mourinho?
Yeah.
Oh, that's what it. This is what it does. It's what Mourinho does. He comes in, he does all right, he gets sacked, he gets paid off, he moves on. He doesn't care. It's all about Mourinho. If Mourinho wins a cup it's Mourinho to win the cup. It's not Chelsea, it's not Spurs, it's not Man United. It's Mourinho won it. But if he loses, it's United last, Chelsea last.
Like Mourinho's 3 Premier League trophies, he has 2 Champions Leagues, he has an FA Cup, 4 League Cups.
Can't argue with the man.
Charity Shields, a Europa League with United, first ever Europa League with us, a La Liga, and 2-time Serie A. Mourinho his football, I think, is outdated now. It's
one of the greatest managers of all time, but he's just the last good few years, he's just, as you say, Carl, outdated.
Can we just point out though, with Mourinho, he has spent £1,543,455,000 on transfer fees.
Can you say that again?
Yeah, £1,543,455,000 on transfer fees Mourinho has spent. So look, I take nothing away from Mourinho for what he did at Porto. Now, if you were taking into account winning the Portuguese league, they were the best team in Portugal. It's a given.
Yeah.
What he did in the Champions League, absolutely unbelievable. Now, he went to Inter Milan. They said, here, there's a blank checkbook, spend what you want. You know, he went to United, he had money to spend. He went to Chelsea, he had money to spend. He went to Real Madrid, he had money to spend. Now, even at Spurs, okay, he's finding it difficult at Spurs because Spurs don't have that.
Yeah. I wouldn't like that is an absolutely ridiculous amount of money to be spending on players. But the way he had, I can only go from like obviously what he won in the Champions League with Inter Milan. That was a big thing as well because they weren't favourites to win it by any stretch. But just
his
the way
favourite signing, Zlatan, just the way he brings him to every club.
Yeah, he loves him. But the way Chelsea had. Or the way Mourinho had Chelsea playing, and the way I listened to a lot of interviews from players talking about Mourinho after, and like they said, I die on the pitch from. Do you know that kind of way? There's no doubt he's a class manager. He creates this siege mentality within a team. It's us versus the world. We need to go out there. Do you know what I mean? Nobody likes us. That's what he did, but that's not working now for him, and that's what he just. He's.
Well,
I think now at Tottenham he hasn't.
The same checkbook.
Yeah. He hasn't, and like that, he's working with players that, again, he's, for example, Dele Alli. I'll use Dele Alli as a prime example of Mourinho's treatment of players, though. Like Dele Alli under Pochettino, the main talisman for creating for Harry Kane. Now, not 1 minute is he getting. It's the same with Gareth Bale. All the Tottenham fans are excited to see him treating Bale like mince meat. It's Mourinho's treatment of players sometimes. He loses the dressing room. Because it's all about him. He come in. Have any of you watched that show 100%. On Amazon Prime?
No, I haven't brought myself to watch it yet.
The Spurs one?
Yeah.
No, I haven't.
It's definitely on my list.
Give it a watch, boys. It just shows that, like, you know.
You're talking to a Chelsea and an Arsenal fan here, like. I know. I will watch it though. I will watch it definitely.
I know I did hear it's good. But actually, do you know what? Look, I see a comment there from Reese about so has Pep spent money. You know, turned out everyone has to spend to win leagues. Pep has spent money, but he's actually spent less than Mourinho. He spent £1,325,842. Sorry, £1,325,842,363.
So about 150 million less. Around that.
There's not a lot in it, but like it's the truth though, isn't it? You know, you have to spend it to You have to spend it to get the success. It's just how the game is nowadays. And to be fair, it's sort of to an extent, it's always been like that. Like look how successful Alex Ferguson was at Man United. And weren't United the first English club to spend $1 million? Wasn't it Paul Parker cost £1 million?
Yeah.
So back then, United were the big spenders and that. But it's always going to be the way. Look,
was it Paul Parker? Was it Paul Parker? It's not Paul Trevor Parker, Francis.
Yeah. No, I'm pretty sure it's Paul Parker. No, maybe I might be wrong, but I'm nearly sure it's Paul Parker.
Right, that's what. Where's the assembly?
Yeah, exactly. I don't think we've anybody else in the chat to remember. I think people are relying on me and you to be the old lads here.
Paul Parker.
Who do you think? Like, what club do you think? Obviously, United were always like pushing there in terms of 40 million mark for players. But the signing of Paul Pogba, do you know that kind of raised bars and set the limit then of transfers and how much players. Oh, it's just, I think City's mass spending is crazy though, boys.
Yeah, well, look, it was the Neymar deal that blew it all out of the water.
Yeah, 222 million, wasn't it? Barcelona was that?
I think
that was
that
Neymar,
transfer has just ruined the transfer market. I think that's why a lot of clubs, Premier League clubs, are going to the loan market more than actually buying a player out.
Well, especially now, like with all the COVID and that, you can understand the clubs are going to be struggling, because a lot of clubs, like Arsenal, for example, kind of living within their means, and we can only spend what we're taking in, So like if we lose a big chunk of that from no fans in the stadium, like you might just forget the fact that we have got billionaire owners, and we have got an owner whose wife alone is worth $6 billion before you even take into account his money. But yet, I think for the first time he put his hand in his pocket for Thomas Partey, and he didn't even pay the entire thing. No, we sold Emi Martinez for 20 million off that 45. So that. But look, that's another podcast.
You just have to,
Well,
I don't like Trevor Francis.
Go on the assemble. Right now, in relation to, let's say, who's going to go down, and who would you say is the next manager to get the sack in the Premier League?
To be honest, I just right now I can't. I'm literally thinking in my head, and it's kind of between Scott Parker or Fulham. I just think Fulham have. I think they will get relegated. But I don't think they'll trust him in getting them back up to the Championship the following season.
Right. Anto?
It's a hard one. I think if Ralph Hasenhüttl loses 9-0 again, he's on the chopping board.
The only Premier League manager in history to actually lose 9-0 twice. Twice.
And to be fair to him, he's done a bloody good job as well. Like, do you remember not long ago, I think it was last season, wasn't it? Didn't he lose 4 on the bounce? And people were saying that's the end of him. He's gone.
Yeah, he's gone.
And now he's turned it around. But
well, he had turned it around, but they're on a slippery slope now again. They're after losing their last 6 games, I think.
Yeah. So
do you know what I mean?
I don't think he's going to be far off.
I'd have to say Steve Bruce. I put my house in it. If I had a house, I'd put my house in it.
Yeah,
100%. His style of play is so boring to watch. Newcastle. They've made decent enough signings. Callum Wilson, Ryan Fraser, 2 of them boys made a league stat.
When you say they made decent enough signings, like he signed Joe Linton for 40 million. You're just looking at Joe Linton there.
That's a deal that isn't talked about enough. Like, I'm hearing about Pepe the whole time. Cahill, I'm sure you're hearing about Harry Maguire.
Yeah.
Joe Linton, that must be one of the worst big money transfers in the Premier League history.
40 million is so much money. Like, and Joe Linton.
Didn't he only scored 7 goals for Schalke when they signed him.
This is why I take this.
Yeah, it was absolute. I couldn't believe it. I actually read it on the Sky Sports app on the phone there, and I was there thinking, is this actually, like, Newcastle were not long ago they're selling their club. Mike Ashley was selling the club to Arab owners, and you're there talking about where will Newcastle be in 10 years' time under these new owners? But Joe Linton, was he the new number 9?
Joe Linton, it's the new number 9, yeah.
He's the new
It's
Francis
like-
Jeffers. He's fucking useless, lads.
Although he did
Bruce,
score a nice bike this season, though.
I have a couple of Newcastle supporters friends, and they absolutely despise Steve Bruce. They despise him.
Right.
He's the style of football he's playing. It's so bad to watch. Jeff Hendricks just beyond the pitch there, you don't even see him. Like I was watching Newcastle match there one day, seeing Jeff Hendricks coming off at half time. I watched the full half. I didn't even know he was playing. Like, do you know, he's not getting the results. I actually think that Scott Parker will keep Fulham up and Newcastle will get relegated. That's
your opinion. But you cannot see what Fulham have been known to do that. Sure, they sacked Jankovic when they got promoted. They have no problem appointing a manager to take them up to the Premier League, but they have no problem sacking them when they get relegated.
Yeah, it's.
Yeah.
So shout out to Reese on that one. Fulham playing well, but where are they? They're in the relegation zone and they're going to get relegated.
Well, look, Fulham are in 18th. They have a game in hand over Newcastle. So if they get a win, you know, there's only 4 points between them.
Yeah, and you never know. Look, obviously it's a bit of an ass, but I'm gonna
Newcastle's last run of form, as in they've had lost tonight 2-0 to Chelsea.
Yeah.
They actually managed to beat Southampton with 10 men, which is again a bit of luck. They then lost to Palace. I mean, they can win, lose, and just go on such a bad run of you feel sorry for the Newcastle fans because Rafa Benitez is quality for them.
I see one comment off Reece Small there. I think it said that Wilder is gone, and I was looking up Wilder, and bottom of the league, they're only on is a 4 or 11 points. They're only at 11 points, which is the same total or the lowest ever. Derby was the lowest ever. I know there's a long way. To go, but Wilder took Sheffield United from League One up to the Premiership. Yeah. I can't see him getting sacked. I can only see if a better team comes in for him and the offer's too good, that's the only way I can see Wilder leaving. I can't see him being sacked.
I think at this stage though, 24 games in, you have 11 points. I think it's safe to say you're expected to get relegated, and if you're going to change the manager, it probably would have been done already.
Yeah.
What's the point?
Yeah,
what's the point?
He supported Sheffield United when he was younger. He played for Sheffield United, and then he brought Sheffield United. He's a legend. The fans love him. I can't see him getting sacked.
Yeah. But what do you think of Chris Wilder's style of play? As in, I've watched a couple of players' interviews on Chris Wilder, and they always say, Sheffield United are a decent side. Where they are on the table doesn't actually reflect on how well they can play at times.
Compare them to last season.
They were very good.
Last season. Yeah. They caused United and Arsenal plenty of
serious
record. They have a serious record against Chelsea, didn't they?
Top 6, serious top 6 record last season.
Especially Chelsea, those squid.
Yeah. I can. And they have a good Irish contingent as well, which is always a good thing.
Yeah,
you talk about the style of Chris Wilder's formation. Wasn't there when he got promoted that season? When he got promoted that season, he was known for having O'Connell and what's the other centre backs? Evans or Egan? Sorry, Egan O'Connell. They were the sweeper centre backs, sweeper centre backs. They were allowed to back and whip the ball in.
Yeah, well, in terms of lads, for managers getting sacked, like I said, you look at the bottom three, right? Sheffield United, as you said, don't see the point in sacking Wilder. West Brom have appointed Big Sam to the end of the season to try and get them out of relegation. So they're 19th. He's going nowhere. He's staying to try to get that bonus.
The only reason he'd leave Vanto is if he wants to keep his record intact and never been relegated from the Premiership.
Yeah. But
which I don't think he'll do. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you Fulham, Scott Parker again. Look, I don't know if they were expecting really to stay up. They haven't really got the squad for it. Steve Bruce looks the most nailed on, especially if they drop into the bottom three.
100%.
Definitely looks the most nailed on. You're looking at Burnley, Sean Dyche. Then you've got
Burnley. There'd be nothing without Sean Dyche. If they sack Sean Dyche, Burnley will be relegated.
I think you have to look at you have to look at each club's next 3 games, and you have to like Newcastle's next 2 games are Wolves, West Brom, and Aston Villa. Now, at the start of the season, they definitely analysing saying there are 3 games that we can get, maybe 5-6 points out of. Like, if Steve Bruce doesn't get 3-4 points out of them games now, if let's say they lose 3 of them games, he's gone. 100,000,000% he's gone. And Fulham's next 3 games are Burnley, Crystal Palace, and Liverpool. So the Burnley and Crystal Palace, they're in relegation now. They have to take 6 points. At least 4 points, 6 points out of the Burnley Crystal Palace. And obviously Liverpool nobody expects them to win. So it's the next 3 games.
I was trying to match O'Malley there. Like, the reason kind of why the downfall of Sheffield United has been down to very much Dean Henderson. Henderson was very good for Sheffield last season, and now he's sitting on the bench at Man United. One of the reasons Sheffield has been worse this season. That's a valid point. Like, they signed back Ramsdale.
Yeah,
and I don't think he has had a great season, to be honest.
I think it's.
In fairness as well, they've only scored 15 goals. I know they conceded 40, but they've only scored 15. So the attack definitely isn't firing for them.
The teams figure out how to play against them. Last season when they came up, they caught teams on the hop, and I think this season, teams figured them out, and I think there's a bit of that, and that's a really good point there from Matthew O'Malley. Like Henderson should be starting for United with the way the Hayes form is going.
Yes, 100%. I was actually expected to see Dean Henderson in the lineup against West Brom.
You have that lad in goals instead of Ramsdale. Now, no disrespect to Ramsdale or whatever, but Henderson in goals is twice as good a goalie.
What comes to mind? Why I don't really like Ramsdale? Like Eze's goal, like when Crystal Palace was at home against Sheffield. Eze, do you remember that goal? He kind of ran the pitch.
Down the left-hand side,
down the left-hand side and tucked in the corner. What Eze had seen Ramsdale's positioning. I mean, it's costing Sheffield. But not to say he's a bad.
No, I wouldn't say that was Chris Weiler's decision. Like, that was obviously Dean Henderson thinking he was going to go back and challenge
the Hay for. So, 100%.
You kind of let them away with that one. But actually, Squidge, while you're there, how long is Tuchel going to last?
Oh man, like I cannot, and no Chelsea fan can give you an honest, or I can give you an honest answer, but no one can give you a prediction on how long Chelsea. Like, look, he's after getting off to a really good start. We're after winning 5 of our last 6 games, or 5 out of 6, or we're after winning our last 5 games. I think
he drew his first one, didn't he?
He drew the first one against Spurs. We're after winning our last 4 in the Premier League, and we won against Barnsley, even though Barnsley were the better team in the FA Cup during the week.
Yeah.
Look, it's a good start. How long is he going to last? It's anyone's guess, because if the way Abramovich is, everyone knows the way he is. Everyone knows the way. Like, the player power these days is a huge thing as well. Like, if he doesn't, if you get the wrong lads on the wrong side of you, you're out. You know what I mean? No. And if you find a man who can answer that question,
it'd be the same man that can tell us what squidgenuity is, I'd say.
Exactly. Yeah, I'd say the two of them are the same thing. But that's a good
there, lads. Who's going down?
I think it's going to be Sheffield United last, West Brom second last, and I think Newcastle third last.
I think Sheffield United last. It could be West Brom and Fulham.
You think it's going to stay the way it is now?
It's going to stay the way it is.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Yeah, it's definitely, look, West Brom and Sheffield United are nailed on.
God.
I'd say, basically between Newcastle and Fulham. Do you know what? I think Fulham have better potential to stay up, because like that, you've seen them. They turned it on against Liverpool.
And I suppose Callum Wilson's now injured for Newcastle.
He's gone for the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, I'd be very concerned if I was a Newcastle fan. Put it that way, I'd be very, very concerned.
I just think if you're a Brighton fan, like Graham Potter, Brighton have not playing. They've been playing good football this season.
That's the thing. They've been playing good football, but not getting results.
Results. But some of the VAR decisions again, I'd go.
Yeah, I I think Potter's a good manager. You could even sure Pep Guardiola come out and said he admires the work Potter's doing at Brighton.
Yeah.
The way they play. The big decisions haven't been going against them. Or big decisions haven't been going their way.
No, he's a good coach, though. He's
you can see it. You can see.
Yeah, the experience of being on the losing end against a Graham Potter team before Brighton. Arsenal played at Midtjylland in the Europa League, and they beat us. And Graham Potter was managing.
Squidgyland, is it? Or
Squidgyland, yeah.
Vigilant.
Your favorite club. Oh, lads. Right, so we've done our. We throw it out there then, yeah. We've predicted who's going down. We basically predicted. Well, I think we're all in agreement. Is it Steve Bruce will be the next man gone? Or you're saying Scott Parker, Colin?
I just suggest. I think either. I'm not. I'd say. Yeah, it's looking more like Steve Bruce. If you just really put some thought into it, Scott Parker, just on that basis, as I said earlier, if they've no problem sacking managers, Newcastle will hold on to managers even when they're doing worse.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't do I agree with that either. No, Mike Ashley's he's not the best chairman in the world to be.
No, but before Steve Bruce, who did you have? Benitez.
Rafa Benitez.
Before Rafa Benitez,
Rafa, the fans loved Rafa.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. I'm not saying Mike Ashley's. I would never want him to want as an owner. Not a hope. He hasn't a clue.
Yeah, Rafa left himself though, didn't he? Didn't Rafa go?
Make a sensible.
Rafa had heart issues, I think, or I don't know.
No, he left because I don't think he was offered a long contract. He wanted to build something at Newcastle. He wasn't offered a long contract.
He wanted to sign players, and Mike Ashley said there was no money for you to sign these players. And this is after being there at the club for 2 or 3 years, and he was like he was getting fed up with it. And he said, and I'm nearly sure he had heart issues as well, or something stress, or something like that. I think that's only now. He left the Chinese Super League because of that. Now, don't think when he's at Newcastle. No, at Newcastle as well. Well, look, maybe I'm wrong.
He has ongoing heart issues. You're not wrong there. But it's just he wanted a longer contract.
Yeah, maybe.
And to spend money.
Do you know what? The only thing I could see keeping Steve Bruce in a job is I think with an owner like Mike Ashley, I don't think he's too pushed on who's actually there, because he's definitely looking to sell. Like we saw that he was looking to sell the club. I don't think he really gives a shite, to be totally honest.
He's so poor negotiating a sale.
In all fairness, lads, if you're looking to sell your club, it's probably the most important manager you're going to have is the one you have before you sell the club, because you want if you finish 7th, or there's a big difference between one position. Even it could be worth an extra 20 million to you. Do you know that kind of way? Like with the money that's involved in the Premier League now at the minute, even one position when you're selling a club, it's worth an extra 20, 30 million to you, I'd say.
I think it played a part in how Bruce got the job, though. I think he was like that Newcastle lad, handy appointment.
He managed Sunderland before, though. Do you know the way he's a Newcastle lad? But he managed Sunderland before. A lot of Toon Army lads, they wouldn't like that at all. Yeah. But did you ever, just an interesting fact, did any ever hear about Steve Bruce? Steve Bruce has books. He has 3 books. Did you ever hear about them?
No.
Sticker books.
No. They're actually he wrote autobiography. He wrote 3 books. They're about like a detective involved in a soccer club or whatever. Striker, defender, and sweeper. That's the name of the 3 books. I advise that. Like I haven't read them or whatever, but it's just I couldn't believe that Steve Bruce is after writing 3 books. But look them up after, like Steve Bruce, these 3 books. That's just
Steve Bruce sent you a DM on Twitter asking you to plug his books, did he?
They're actually worth like if they're really rare, they're like worth like 400, 500 euro on eBay. They're like, I'm telling you, look it up. That's my squidge. My squidge fact of the day.
The squidgenator. What about
that could be the next podcast where we review Bruce's book.
Yeah.
Anybody in the chat? Yeah. Tag
The
Steve
book club.
Bruce.
I just thought it was worth. I just thought it was worth to mention. Steve
We
Bruce.
were tagging Richards last week and Roy Keane. We're tagging Steve Bruce this week.
That's definitely.
Plug in the books.
Can all the viewers please comment below who they think will be relegated this season? Yeah, I'd be interested to see that.
Give us the predictions.
Who do you think the next manager appointments will be in certain clubs, especially the top 6? Or what manager would you like at your club? Comment below, please.
Steven Gerrard will take over the Liverpool post.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah. He's looking like he's done the right thing and going to the Scottish Premiership, learn his way, and teach his style of play. I think he's look at him right now. They have the most goals scored in Europe, I think.
Oh, yeah, great.
And conceded the least.
I think that's the mistake Chelsea made. Where, like, let's say, do you know the way people were always comparing Lampard and Gerrard when they were playing, and I think as managers, I think Gerrard did it the right way, and obviously Lampard
season.
Lampard was never going to refuse the Chelsea job because it's his dream job. But I think Chelsea were wrong in going for Lampard too soon. Whereas Liverpool have a process. You know, Gerrard's up there in Rangers and he's doing well with them. Still has them in the Europa League. Going to stop Celtic from winning the Scottish League 10 years in a row. He's like they're way ahead. They're 20 points ahead in that league or something like that. So
they're demolishing the Scottish Premier League. I mean, Celtic have been doing it for so long now, but Steven Gerrard is definitely in line after Klopp.
Yeah, definitely. Well, did you see the way that they both signed their new contracts on the same day for the same length of time?
Yeah, that's a bit superstitious.
3-year deals or something.
But I think we can safely say he will definitely be a manager. Like Anfield will soon go for one of their own. I'm just seeing one of the topics there from chatting to Jack Flynn on this one. I'd love to see Ollie go, but I don't think he will unless we get dropped out of our top 4. Like for Ollie to come in, I don't think he's been given the job. Like he's been given the job. We needed him the most. We didn't want to spend too much money either on a manager because we gave Mourinho such a big pay. It was a disgrace. But Ollie has actually transformed Man United in many different ways that a lot of people wouldn't even realise. We've given the most minutes to youngsters out of anyone in top 5 leagues. We've shown glimpses but under Ollie, it's only going to get you to a semi-final. We made 3 last season, 3 semi-finals. So he's only going to get you so far because I don't think he has that winning mentality. And the players will even say it. That squad of players will always even say, we have won nothing yet for us to call us winners, for us to say, or even to state our claim, we are among the best.
Yeah.
Like I think we have a tough game coming up against Real Sociedad. I'm not taking them. I'm taking them with as a decent team. They've shown glimpses in La Liga this season. They can compete. The likes of David Silva now we can create. Adnan Januzaj can come back to haunt. But yeah, I think Ollie's transition. He always opts to that 4-2-3-1 formation against the top 6. He always gets a result when he knows his job's under pressure. But giving him the job long term, I just don't think he. If there's ever going to be a chance for us to win the league, it has to be this season. Given that Liverpool have lost Van Dijk, Man City with no Aguero, the signing of Ruben Diaz, he'll fit into the team. Yeah. I just don't know. Can he get it should be this season? The players should know. Oh my God, the other teams around us are starting to slip. Every team.
I actually think that the standard of the league this year has been a lot worse than the last 3 to 4 years. Let's say, if you look at Man City winning the league with over 100 points, Liverpool coming second in the league with 94, 95 points. Do you know for the last couple of seasons? If you look at this season, I'm not trying to. I actually don't. I obviously don't like United, but I don't think United are doing as well as what the story actually portrays. If you know what I mean, what we're looking at.
Where we are on the table right now.
You're second in the league, but I just think that a lot of teams around you, like Arsenal, Spurs are down in 9th and 10th. Chelsea are just after coming up to 4th, but we were down 7-8 for the last. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Until Lampard got sacked. Like, you know, I just don't think the clubs around United are doing enough to put pressure on them. Let's say.
That's what I'm trying to say. Like, it's never a league for us to win. It should have been kind of looking at this season. But I'm being realistic here. I never would have thought United would win the league this year. I'd always thought it was it's either City or Liverpool's. You know, yourselves to either lose. Like what we're seeing right now with Liverpool's current form, you know, they've. I'm actually like, I can't believe it. Like, but you love to see it.
Yeah, but it just shows you that how quick football can change. Like Liverpool were. A couple of my friends were saying to me that Liverpool last season were the greatest team in history. Like, and
they're comparing our treble league winning side to that side that won the. Like,
did you see the post on Instagram earlier?
What was that?
Some guy had taken a picture of Arsenal's Invincibles.
I seen that. Yeah, I seen that.
Unpopular opinion, but Thierry Henry is the only player in that team that would get into Liverpool's team for last season. And I put up in the corner of they had the little mascot that's there.
Ball boy, yeah, with the flag, yeah.
I said that team is so good that mascot would have got into that Liverpool team.
yeah.
People do not realize how good that team was.
But like you're talking about, like, we're getting older. Well, other than Carl, I'm getting older anyway. Do you know what I mean?
I believe I'm getting older too, Squidge.
A lot of lads these days wouldn't see the likes of, that Invincibles team. They wouldn't have watched Vieira play.
I don't think you'll ever see it again.
That's
not for a long
time.
It's because it's like you go to a rainy day in Stoke and you get better. It's that type of English kind of play to it. Yeah. Like the league, it's so hard to actually go invincible.
Being invincible it's so hard. People don't understand how hard it is. Like, look how long it took Celtic to do it. Like in that league. Now imagine doing it in the Premier League.
It's impossible. You did the impossible. That's
like PSG don't do it now. Like that Celtic weren't doing it. Like even Rangers is good this season aren't doing it.
He did it when United was in their pomp as well. They're going as well as anything. Do you know what I mean? It's as highly impressive. Like, I'd love to have it in the Chelsea armory when I'm having my debates with lads. You know, it is highly impressive.
But unfortunately, it's one of the only things we have nowadays, though, to throw back at people. We're sitting there when our European run is over. Who's left to lose?
You've all them FA Cups, don't you?
Well, we do our predictions for the top 6, lads.
Yeah, we go for it.
Right, I'm gonna have to have a little. We'll all agree on Man City number 1.
I agree. It's Man City's to lose.
Right, I'm going to throw a spanner in the works here now, boys, and I'm going to say Tommy Tuchel. He's after coming in. He's after sorting us out. Timo Werner's after getting his first goal of the season, let's say. I'm going to say Chelsea are going to get second. There you go. Mark.
What?
Yeah, watch.
I think Leicester.
That's such nonsense.
Leicester are going to get second.
Right, watch. If Chelsea finish second, will you do what the next video after it with topless?
Topless. I bet the fans would love to see that. So at the minute, Chelsea are 4 points behind United.
We're only 4 points behind United.
4 points behind, and I'm actually, we're playing you soon enough.
We're playing you on the 28th. We're playing you on the 28th this month.
We have to go to Newcastle. United have to go to Newcastle next, and then
you'd win that.
Look, United for us has been a walk in the park, so we'll have a look now.
Next 3 games.
Anthony, you claim Leicester will finish second. I am not going to say that is not a bad shout. I think that United right now we should not be in a top 4 race. What I mean by that is we should be cementing our second place and having a bit more points tally than 3rd and 4th. I don't think we should be getting dragged into a top 4 race, but it is what it is now. The reality of it, we dragged ourselves into a top 4 race. For me, I think it's United second.
So you think United, right?
I think we're gonna
Are
stay.
we making notes of this? Who said
I'm
what?
I have my top 4 picked there now already.
Right. So we're in agreement. Man City first. So we all have City. Yeah. I'm going Leicester for second.
I'm going putting spanners in the work here now. I swear to God.
Cahill, you're going United second. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. I'm going to work on third now. I think United third, and I'm going to say Chelsea fourth.
Right. I'll take that if that happens.
Is Van Dijk out for the whole season?
He's out for another while anyway. He returned from Dubai yesterday. I don't know what that means, but he returned from Dubai yesterday.
Do you know what? I just don't know Liverpool. Like I know the form hasn't been great, but they're not a million miles off. Do you know?
That's why I'm going to throw Liverpool into my top 4 here. To tell you the truth, because if Liverpool's
Liverpool, I think
they're only 6 points off United.
Well, look, they're only 2 points off Chelsea, who are fourth.
Yeah, but I'm gonna say United aren't going to qualify for the Champions League.
What? How can you say something like that, though?
Or what about the dark horse with West Ham in fifth?
West Ham. David Moyes doing some job there, boys. In all fairness,
I'd be honest. I don't think they'll even get top 6. I think they'll fizzle
either way. Yeah, 100%. I think they'll fizzle out.
Top 6.
Boys, I think David Moyes, I think Everton and West Ham for Europa League qualifications. But the main thing is,
I'm going to agree with Matthew McGowan here. I'm going to say United to crumble just because I want it so much.
But it's not going to happen. Chelsea for second. I mean, what?
Chelsea, we're only 4 points behind you with 14 games to play.
Yeah, that's 4. That's a bit. But I mean,
it's not a bad thing to be going around saying. We're only 4 points behind you with 14 games to play.
Looks the same.
There's over a third of the season to play.
Oh, there's still time. There's still.
Can Liverpool turn it around?
But the likes of Tottenham and that, Mourinho is only. He's only a couple.
I can't say Tottenham.
My top 4 decision. I think it's going to be Man City first, second is United, third Liverpool. Sorry, Chelsea, fourth Liverpool.
Right, I'm going to put United in there because you're crying into my face.
Here, we're going to talk.
Vince, it's your decision. It's absolutely very, very ridiculous. I know.
Right.
I'm well up for it.
No. Do you know what I'm doing? I'm actually putting United out to 5th. I'm gonna go Man City first, Chelsea second, Liverpool third, Leicester fourth, United 5th, and I haven't picked 6 yet. Come back to me in a minute.
Right, I have my 6, right? So I'm gonna go City first, Leicester second, United third, Chelsea fourth, Liverpool 5th, and Everton 6th.
Right. Wait there now.
Who's Everton 6th? Who's 5th, Anthony?
Liverpool.
That isn't bad. Liverpool are so up and down, so they will find it hard.
See, Everton as well, right? Everton
you have to underrate Everton of Ancelotti.
Look at Kieran. Look what Kieran Smith says there. The United's next fixtures include City, Chelsea, Spurs, West Ham. Do you know there?
We've drew against City and we've beaten West Ham.
I'm
just saying against Chelsea. I mean, there could be 2 draws there.
I'm just saying it's not a ridiculous statement for me to be coming out that Chelsea could finish ahead of United.
What do you think, Anto?
In all fairness, I've been sort of saying all season that I'm waiting on United to just kind of crumble all together, and they still haven't. So I don't know. I don't know if I'm that confident in United bottling it.
Yeah,
now.
But all last season I've been listening to, he's not even going to get top 4, and he's got his top 4. I think we still finish ahead of Chelsea this season.
Yeah, 100%. They're definitely top 4. It's going to be. See, I think it's going to be hard for Chelsea because that. as I said, you bring in a new man, and he might do a good job at the beginning, but that often fizzles out.
Yeah, no, look. It's just I'm going on hope rather than I'm doing this with my heart, not with my head.
Go on, give us 6th place. Go on, Squidge. Give Arsenal 6th. We need it. Come on.
I was thinking about it. Craig Carey there in the comments said give Arsenal 6th. So I'm trying to see. You're only
give us 5th. Go on.
Steve McCabe, I won't cry because we will get Champions League. You will just about get Europa League. And Reese, I don't understand. You're a biased Chelsea fan there now. You think Chelsea are just the greatest.
So you have to look when you're picking 6. You have to look at the game. And
Thomas Tuchel will be sacked.
Everton have
before the end of the season.
Thomas Tuchel could be sacked before the end of the season.
I'm winding you up. I'm winding you up.
I'm gonna go. Oh. Just because West Ham are up, well, if Everton win them 2 games in hand, right? I'm gonna go Everton 6.
What about Aston Villa?
I think they'll fizzle out.
I don't. Aston Villa they've been winning games. They've been losing games to the lower league, the lower side. So I just don't think they'll be up there yet. They'll be in the top 10 though. I think they'll be in the top 10.
What I think we should do, lads, is I think we should write down our 6, and we'll put them in the comments below. And then we can come back. We can come back when it is over, and we can see who was the closest. And I'm gonna be dancing around the place.
I don't know what we can see. Where are we?
Yeah, I can see it. Man City, Leicester, Man United, Chelsea, Liverpool, Everton.
Right, City, Chelsea, Liverpool, Leicester, Man United, Everton.
Not.
Hey, hold on. Right, Squidge, you call them out. I want to take note of yours as well. So,
the boys are lining me up here. They're lining me up.
Because I wouldn't be bothered watching this video back.
Yeah.
So you go on. You've got City.
Man City first, Chelsea second, Liverpool third, Leicester fourth, Man United 5th, and Everton 6th. If that happens, I'd be happy man.
So Squidge doesn't think United will get any Champions League football.
If I'm being honest, I think they will. He's just going on.
That's on Mazza still.
He's just trying to be controversial. He's trying to be the Roy Keane of the channel.
Exactly.
But it has been up and down season though. Every kind of team hasn't they've had we've had a
I can't believe we're only 4 points off second, boys. That'll show you how bad the league is. Remember I was telling you earlier how Chelsea are 4 points off second. It's mad.
And I think he's actually at this current form, United and Chelsea, you're in better form. So I'm kind of fearing the worst at this moment in time. But then again, it could be a 0-0 draw, Squidge.
No, I'll take it. I'll take it in a little draw tonight. We'll catch you. There's 14 games left. We'll catch you.
Long out season. But will Arsenal even get any European football at me?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
I think the best we'll get this season, I think if we finish half decent, I think we might get 8th.
Yeah, something like that.
I hate to sound I hate to sound negative on that, but look, I'm just being realistic. I really don't think we have it in us this season. I don't think the squad is going to be consistent enough. We're too up and down like that. Every time we do string a few results together, we're one result off, completely falling apart all over again. And we could well end up on another 5, 6, 7 games without a win. Anyone can beat us. On our day, we can beat anyone, but our day just doesn't come around that often nowadays.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't see Arsenal getting European football. Sadly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right, lads. I think I am going to call it a night. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, I think
100%.
We've gone through everything there. We predicted the relegation size. We predicted the top 6. Predicted the first manager out.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We did our job. We came and did what we're. Lads, just before we go, I want to give a shout out to Rich Sports, who is it's a YouTube football channel. It's a United channel. As much as I hate him, but I'm going on him tomorrow night. So he's actually only a couple of subscribers off 500. So if any of our viewers go on to Rich Sport, RICHSPORT, and give him a follow. And I'm going on there tomorrow night picking my best all-time Champions League 11. So that should be a bit of fun too.
That'll be interesting, Squidge. I'll tune in for that one.
No bother at all, boys. No bother at all.
That should be good. What time did you say that was on it?
It's on 10:15 tomorrow night. Yeah.
Rich Sports, love it.
Yeah.
Look,
I can stick a link in.
Yeah, definitely bang a link in. But yeah, here actually, Squidge, just so the lads can keep up with it. Yeah, do you want to? I know it's coming down the ticker there, but you can follow the Squidge man, Cahill, and myself down below.
Down below, lads, at GGMU Republic. Tweet at me with all the controversy.
At Squidger89. I'm only new to the old Twitter scene now, so give me a chance. But make sure and like and subscribe this channel as well, and hit the notification bell. It's huge, lads. We're already trying to get off our feet, so every subscriber,
talk about football. We'll take criticism. Tell us where he gets. We don't mind.
And Cahill loves dick pics in his DM, so lads. Right, thanks again, lads.
Thanks, lads.
Thanks for liking,
Mind yourself.
sharing.
Mind yourself, lads. All the best.
Take it easy.
Look.